At some levels, the governor has tried what he can, but you see, figures don't lie. If people or government officials were involved to perpetuate disappearance of these figures, I agree that we need together to do an audit of this and find out the truth. I agree with the committee and my colleague senator that these documents have a lot to, we have a lot to do, and I agree that we proceed, and I request the chair to authorize a serious forensic audit of these figures in Bungoma. Thank you.
Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Chair. Let me add my voice on the concern of the admission numbers. In our Kenyan curriculum system, you identify a student by the admission number. I had noted a school, Moi Girls Kamusinga, you know, the huge sums like check number 04555552 amounting to 1.3 million. Now, why do you have to write this is how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 checks to one institution, different amounts, as little as 21,000 Kenya shillings? Why not then do an RTGS, of course, accompanied by the check with one sum? Why different checks, the same institution? I just requested for your act, which is 2019, and 9.2 says that within a period of 3 months after end of each financial year, the scheme administrator shall submit to the county auditor and the auditor general the accounts of the scheme. Here we are, Bona Governor, looking at the issue of a variance of 138 million. Bursary is a very key thing to me. I'm very passionate about bursary because that's where education touches, you know, with the needy. And so if we can right now be talking about 138 variance on the financial year 2020, is it 2021? And your article, your act is clear. Is it your accounting officer who are not adhering, such that right now is when the auditors will be seeking for more time to verify the document that you've submitted, and yet it's clearly stipulating that within that, you know, within 3 months, financials should be done and completed, and at the same time 5 checks to one institution, not just Moi Girls, but I'm seeing other institutions. And how does that go about, whereby one check today, another check tomorrow, or what is happening with these ghosts? Because these are not students, these are institutions. In your act, you clearly talked about giving the bursaries secondary school students, not just secondary schools, but secondary school students. It's your own act. So are we, Chair, I'm just concerned, are we just having acts because the law requires, but they are not really being adhered to? It's a very big concern to this committee. I give it back to you.
Sen.Eddie.
You know, Chair, finance is what we spend a lot of time doing. Chair, I want to invite you to page 68 of that document. And I hope Governor can go with me to page 68. You know, this document, the reason I'm telling you that you're going to do a serious forensic audit in this entire fund, you're going to see what we call simple Excel mistakes in trying to generate numbers that could be able to just make sense to the variance that was questioned by the auditors.
Yeah.
And Governor, this is very serious. In case the accounting officer who prepared this particular document is seated here, they'll have a lot of problems. I hope it is the guys you had sent out of office. Chair, page 68. If you start with a school there called Maliki Boys. Maliki Boys all the way to page 69, Nyabola. Only Kilimo Girls Secondary School has 40,000. And then we've got 8,000 in Chwele, and then 3,000 in Kachonge girls. The rest, you can see a generated Excel drop of 4,000. You are arguing that all students in those over, I think, 30 schools are paying the same amount of fee, and it is the fee in those places are standard at 4,000. Chair, go with me to page. Go with me again to page 78. Auditor, I want you to see page 78. Go to a school called St. Kizito Mayanja Secondary. Can you see it? Yes. That is what in the finance we call outlier, meaning that all Bungoma students who are getting scholarships most likely are going to this school called St. Kizito, because other schools are getting 5,000, 5,000 consistently, about an average of 20,000. Max is 40. This one all of a sudden gets 628,000. The argument for that cannot be explained financially and statistically. And Chair, I have another one here. Circle this. I hope you're marking this Excel generations. If you go through this document, and I hope that the Senator for Bungoma will go with me through this. Come to page 99. Or are you with me, page 99? Are you on page 99? How is that practical? Under any circumstance, that all these schools from Cardinal Otunga to Singore girls are given a rationalized check of 21,000. How practical is that under any circumstance? That's why I'm telling you, Governor, this is the most embarrassing document I've ever seen being brought to this committee to check, because it is simple Excel drop that somebody just came up with a number, punched it, and said because the auditor had asked that we check on a variance of 546 million, let me try and get to that number somehow. I can assure you, the accounting officer should confront me and tell me that this one, you can give me paperwork that shows that this money went to these schools. This is a simple Excel error, and this must be accompanied by the beneficiary students. And auditor, the pages I've invited you to check. I want to invite you to go and look at beneficiaries and try and match those beneficiaries to this figure that have been given here. And you and I know as a finance person that you will get bigger variances. It will not add up. So, Chair, this one needs a forensic audit. Yeah. There's no need of committee spending time to discuss.
Just a quick one to Eddie. Just a quick one, Chair, kindly. One second. Yeah, my last one. It's just an addition to Eddie. I just wanted to add, on page 82, auditors, you realize there's no check number for the institutions. 83, 82, there are no check numbers. And then on the page 70, we have a check, but there's no institution, but the amount is 10,000. There's no institution. I think, Chair, I would want to, if quickly the Governor can tell us if the accounting officer is seated here.
I doubt. Okay, let me Governor respond to that.
Yeah. Maybe I'll give a chance to my CC Finance to say.
CC Finance?
CC Finance say something, then I'll respond to that.
Okay, through the Chair. Actually, I wanted to observe and make a statement on this, what has been observed. There are two categories of payments we are observing here, that is bursary and scholarship. At bursaries, they always pay as little as 5,000, 3,000, 2,000, which are also indicated here. And why you find that sometimes you find a school can be paid maybe 3 times or so repeatedly is because of that kind of rationalization of exchequer. You find in this cash flow, this time you have received the exchequer, you apportion that part for payment of bursary or scholarship. That period they need to pay. When you get another exchequer, they are also again supposed to apportion for that for the payment. That's why you find that repetition, and they have to rationalize. That is why you find that. Then the reason why we actually decided not to go the checks way is because when you look at the task force report, which was there, any payment you make by check is supported by schedules. But now, where there were issues is now reconciliation in terms of where the money is going. Because you can pay a school and you find maybe the parent has already also paid. So that is supposed to be reconciled, and that's the reason why there was that task force that was put in place. And this kind of bulky transactions had issues to do with the reconciliation. That's why we directed as County Treasury that all of them must be paid through IFMIS on the platform, so that when they come for payment for a school, they must be attached by a beneficiary list. So when we pay the school, we verify also the beneficiary list. And right now, anything we have paid, we now demand from the school, from the department now to request for acknowledgement. That becomes very easy now in terms of accountability. That is where we have migrated to. Chair.
Okay, Chair.
Let me allow the governor to say something.
But I think his officer is just telling some funny statements. We need to get fast to that, because no, there are some feedbacks that are not fair, Chair.
You are not. You are out of order. The word "funny" is unparliamentary.
I withdraw, but we need facts, Chair. We are dealing with mathematical issues here.
Let me give the chance to the governor.
Thank you, Chair. I think when I made my comment, the Senator, Madam Senator, had not come in. I said that immediately I assumed office, I realized scholarship program had issues. I formed a task force and subsequently suspended, and eventually the chief officer who was in charge left the county government. So they are not here. Because the task force also came up with a lot of some of these issues that are being raised. And my recommendation will be, I agree with what has been said, that let there be a forensic audit, because all these facts, we need facts. Of course, we really need to get to the bottom and know who benefited and who did not benefit. In fact, I became very unpopular. People said I'd come to remove scholarships, because one of the other issues that was there is a scholarship, because we were going to an election year. It moved from 6,000 to 12,000, just to try and do some PR to be able to maybe win elections. So that's why I did that audit, and that I formed the task force. And the report is there, and the report can also be availed on what was found, together with what the auditor is saying, and even more information can still be availed so that the correct position is established. That is my stand.
Senator, you have. Let me give it to Kisang, then Mida, then Senator Mutinda, and then the last comment from Senator Bungoma.
Chair, if you could, I want you to notice the explanation by the governor.
It's okay.
That there was a task force and there is a report.
Good, Chair. I don't want to repeat go the same, because if you go to every page or alternate pages, there are there's a lot of money, like Bungoma High School on page 109. There is one school called St. Luke's Kimilili, 4.4 million. Maybe instead of just looking at figures, is to find out from the governor that he has a report. There was a task force report. Maybe you need to tell us the recommendations, because what we expected from you then, if you found the chief officer or the officer who was in charge resigned or took off, what other measures did you take, say by inviting EACC to do investigations? Because if you check through this report, it's just basically a fraud. This was fraud. So we expected you as the CEO of the county to invite other government agencies to help you.
As you speak, Chair, the matter is with EACC.
Oh, good. So at least then, Chair, if already the matter is outside there with EACC, maybe then what you recommend is we do forensic, instead of also wasting now more time on something that is already outside there.
Yeah, so that's clear. Members, don't repeat yourself.
It's very clear. In fact, when a governor should have started that more or less with a disclaimer, other than us at least dwelling on it. Though, even if we gave benefit of doubt, looking at it again, I repeat, there are no receipts, and even the recipient's institution that showing they have received the money. Actually, that is the bottom line.
Yeah, Senator Mutinda, don't repeat yourself. The matter is now very clear.
I didn't want to repeat myself, but Chair, we have to be realistic with what is current. You know, I was listening to your CEC, and CEC, on my issue that I had raised on the Moi Girls Kamusinga, asking you why you are giving different checks. I sit in the Finance and Budget Committee, where we issue funds to these counties. And when we come to this oversight and see how money cannot be accounted, I mean, it really discourages so much. So when you reply and say, money from the exchequer comes in late. So do you want to tell me you gave check number 45549 and still money came late? You gave check 4550, that is 50. You gave check 51, you check 52. And we most of us here, we have checkbooks, you know. So you cannot tell me the amount, let me call it like that, like a small amount that came from exchequer was, you are able to give amount 21,000 to this student. And the second following check is consistent with the check numbers. The second one, it took you so long, so there was no check within there that you wrote. So at least when you're also giving this, your governor is admitting, which we appreciate. But if you're the accounting officer, you need to own up and say, yes, there is a mistake, there was a problem. Because actually, the advantage you have is that you were not in office then. So why are you trying to give us answers that will suit you at this time? And this is not your work. You were not there in place. So just own up. You cannot tell us there was no money. The check numbers are following each other consistently. So it's good to honor, because a governor depends on you so much. Us as a committee rely on you so much. It's only Article 179 that makes him be responsible to answer all these questions. But he really depends. That's why you're seated next to him. So when there's an error, let us accept so that we can be able to move forward. Thank you, Chair.
Wakoli.
Thank you, Chair. I also want to request, looking at this sequence of the sequence of the checks, we need to do an audit of these checks, because I expected that the flow of the checks will be clear, and where the number of the checks are not there is also a question that needs to be cleared. So through my governor, my friend in charge of finance, you should be hands-on. The least I expected is being tongue-tied in the Senate setting like this, putting our governor in a very awkward situation. So through the chair, we proceed with the forensic audit and then deal with this matter. Thank you.
Let's not belabor these matters. I will give directions, and the directions I give, number one, is that the county, you submit to us the report of the task force, again in the 14 days. Number two, I do not find these schedules very useful to this committee. Because as members have pointed out, there are so many anomalies. Every page there is an anomaly, and it doesn't have admission numbers and all that. So given that we are going to order for a forensic audit, I therefore direct that these schedules be expunged from our record because they are misleading. But forensic audit be conducted by the Office of the Auditor General. Communication should be done by the clerk for that. But taking note that EACC is already handling the matter. Unfortunately, the representation from EACC is not here today, but he would have confirmed. So I think that addresses the matter. And the governor, thank you for taking action on this matter. In fact, you should just have told us that this matter is before EACC as your response. That would have stopped us from going around in circles. So I think that brings us to the end of our bursary fund. So we proceed to disaster and emergency fund. So you can clear the documents and give members disaster and emergency.